Alright, you futures fanatics, lock your eyes on the main stage and get those limit orders ready. He's got the edge, he's got the leverage, and he is ready to expose the market. Put your hands together and make some noise for the master of the micros, the king of mean reversion. Ride the trading goat. Now let's trade like you mean it. Good freaking morning, the screens are alive. Got the leverage lined up, we're ready to dive. Master of the micros, riding the trend, taking every single point the market's gon' land. Lock 'em in, pack 'em down, watch the green grow. Rise on the stage, running the show. Trade like you mean it, let the volume rise. Exposing the market right before your eyes. Time for the show. Let's go, let's go. It's time for the show. Let's go, let's go. It's time for the show. Let's go, let's go. It's time for the show.
Can you guys hear me? Good old one for picture and sound. All right. My goodness. They do an update to, whatever. You guys have all been through it. They do an update to the OBS plugin and it just messes absolutely everything in. All right, we're here. We're here now. And hopefully some of you already saw the risk disclosure and disclaimer, so we can jump right in. And you'll be shocked to hear it's 0-0 over there in that England game. So we got that going on. All right, let me turn on my camera, see if that works. There we are. All right. In case you are just joining, I do want to remind everybody the broadcast for educational purposes only. Nothing to solicitation to buy or sell any security. Trading is risky, not suitable for all investors, and some of the trading you might be seeing is being placed in simulated brokerage accounts, should not be expected to be replicated in a live brokerage account. All right, let me take you up here real quick. I'm probably done for the session today. Traded, actually just got short the ZT. I just saw that I just got short the ZT. So pop for the treasuries as the rates came in a little bit. Another solid day. Actually hit a much higher equity high, but took a little money out of this account just to be consistent with what I'm doing and mostly focus on micros. That being said, now I have a ZT trade on there, which is $7.81 a tick. Traded the MNQ, the MYM, the MES, the MCL, the MGC, and now the ZT here today. What was your Kerpos? What were you guys trading around? We'll take a look at just really briefly what the beautifulness is of the Dow Jones yet again. So this might not look like much, but we have our offer zone drawn in up here and resting in order at prior session POC, which is 52,660. We did not quite get there. They rallied it right off of the pivot here. A little bit of two-way action in all of the stock indices today, with the NASDAQ being the weakest. NASDAQ is experiencing this swoon from these same 4 or 5 stocks that seem to move things around, Micron, SanDisk, and a few others. Meanwhile, that's the backdrop against Apple hitting yet another all-time high, along with cross currents that are interesting going on with SpaceX finally closing below its IPO price. I think it was trading around 133 last time I checked. I think it priced at 135. Who didn't see that happening? I'm sure there's a lot of people that are very happy that they were buying above 200. And I think this IBM smackdown is worth more discussion than it's getting for a stock of that size. Even though it's been sleepy and it had its moments recently, when it got on the AI train and brought in a bunch of dumb money. Having a Dow stock down 25% in one session yesterday is pretty significant. But what I wanted to talk about today, if there's no trading opportunities, this one's going to be a little different than some of the educational stuff I've done before. I want to cover this scenario that happened with Alpha Futures. And what's interesting about the Alpha Futures situation, and if you're not familiar with it, I'll give you probably the best video to watch because she did a much better job than I would have. If we search for Apex, the day Apex sent out this emails talking about a disruption in the force, and I'm just not up on all this stuff. There are probably 10 or 15 other content creators that focus specifically on what I'll just call prop drama and noise and nonsense. But if you're into it and you need to know the latest on everything that's going on, there is a lot of other places to look at that. But I've actually started watching Kathy's content now. No, I've never really met Kathy, but I know her partner Boris, and finally some more adults in the room are chiming in the prop space overall. But to connect these dots together, Apex sent something out about something that happened, and I didn't even know what it was. Like, I don't follow all this stuff. So it did turn out that it was Alpha Futures. And I wanted to turn you on to Kathy's video on it. If you haven't watched it, then I'll put the link in here. It's definitely worth a watch because, first of all, she did a great job of scripting it, and she's just good at delivering a lot of value and overview very quickly. So you might want to check that out. But there's a firm called Alpha Futures, which I've never worked with, that is the latest of what will be a endless series of this happening. There's now over 100 futures firms. There's 350 CFD FX prop firms. I hear about a new futures firm almost once a week. So at some point, we know there's going to be far more failures than just the ones that we've seen. Of note, I had been involved with a couple that had just one that was kind of a spectacular failure called Profit Trade. And then people have their own opinions also on Prop Shop, meaning it's not a spectacular failure, but it certainly was not very fun watching them go through all kinds of iterations in their programs and things. While I'm on the screen, I also would point out, I don't know, there's probably plenty of tech geeks that know a lot more than I do about plugins and tools and neat things to do with AI, but there's a YouTube summary Chrome extension from a company called Glasp. And for me, it does the best job of providing a quick summary via transcript or a summary. So you can get a summary or you can get a transcript. I know there's plenty of other ways to do this, but what I love about it is it sits aside every YouTube video. You cannot make the transcript private as far as I know. So if it's a video that's public, the transcript will be available. And you could just grab it here and quickly summarize it if you didn't want to watch this whole 15 minutes. But let me give you the takeaways and where I think this is all going and all the great points that Kathy made during her video. So first and foremost, this stuff is going to happen, right? It's going to happen. So what's her message? Diversification, but not only diversification of prop firms, but also diversification of tools and technologies. Because this happened to be connected with Alpha Futures losing their Trade-Evade and Ninja license. Now, I often talk about how nice I think that the combination of being able to multi-prop using firms that support Trade-Evade, but Trade-Evade and Ninja are starting to have a stranglehold on the industry, which is one of the reasons that I've diversified in my investments in other platforms as well. And you could see that they might do the same thing. Now, I have no idea whether it was deserved or not, or what the situation is over at Alpha Futures. I don't know if any of us will ever know. But imagine if Apex lost Ninja and Trade-Evade, or if Trade Day lost it, or if Take Profit lost it, or if My Funded Futures lost it, or if Lucid lost it, right? You're already seeing many of these firms start to diversify their technology stack because they don't want to be held hostage to one particular technology stack. That being said, that technology stack is pretty popular, and it also allows you to trade on TradingView if you want to trade on TradingView. Many people are unaware that the connection between TradingView and your prop program is actually via Trade-Evade. So if you didn't know that, that's part of that technology stack. So she does a really good job of talking about that this is maybe yet another shot against the bow to understand that if you're participating in these programs, You should think, one, how do I diversify across firms? Does it absolutely suck if you get rug pulled, or if you work on a prop program and you've developed a buffer or have some profit or are waiting on a payout, and the firm changes their policies or figures out a way not to pay you? Yes, but I'll also say that is way, way, way too much of the focus, and where I'm trying to bring focus to elsewhere, which is, why not use these for what they are? They're simply tools to learn how to trade a small account profitably. Again, this is me speaking. I'm ripping a page from my own hymn book. If you think differently and you want a cheap access to a gambling simulator that you can get paid on, then you're going to spin yourself up and need to be on Kellyanne's site or all these other sites. No slight on any of those firms if they're providing you value with what's the latest on the best deal, or who screwed over who, or what someone's saying on X. But I want to try to be an adult in the room like Kathy and just simply tell you that this is fantasy land a little bit, but you can learn. They're just tools, right? So what they show you is you should even have considerations of diversification of your own brokers. Now, I have 98% of my money at Interactive Brokers. I think it's pretty safe there. But I have a small amount of money in the futures world at 4 or 5 other different IBs. I've spoken about Robinhood. I've spoken about Plus 500. I've spoken about Tradier. I've spoken about AMP. I've spoken about GFF Brokers. I've spoken about plenty of others. So there's a diversification play there as well. So the final message on this is threefold, right? One, it's going to happen again, right? So how do you protect yourself from that? You do it a little bit from diversification, and also, when and if you can, try to take reasonable payouts. Now, what's interesting about when all this spins up and the focus is on the people that did have balances in their accounts. Now, look, if you lose an account or something happens and you didn't violate any rules and you weren't quite there and they rug pull you and they pull the program, or the firm goes out of business, that does suck. You're out some amount of money for evaluations and things. But the focus seems to be so much on this very small percentage of people that get to even that payout stage and how they were wronged. And unfortunately, I know the data. Even those people, while again, they deserve their payouts, they did what they should have done, whether they put on full size and mini, however they got there, it really doesn't matter. They got there within the framework of what the program was put together. But I don't have a lot of sympathy for those people either. I really don't. Especially when there is plenty of more established firms that you might have your issues with them, but just go with the more established ones and stay away from these fringe third world or third what do I call them? Third waivers. Okay? For the most part. All right. So that's my thought on the Alpha Futures thing. I don't know a whole lot about it. I might do a longer form video, but if you guys have any comments on that, you can leave them in there. But that's my message. That's my message on that. All right, let's do a quick check in here. Gold working its way. I'm going to rest an order to buy the minus ones, which are down here. Attach that order to the line. MYM is working its way back up and hanging around its POC and VWAP here, and we're 20 minutes into the Argentina game, and it's still no score. So I'm not liking my bet, but I'm hoping some. I was undefeated in World Cup betting, which is pretty amazing, and I made 9 bets. My first loss was yesterday, and I'm not really sure why I put it on France. I knew that Spain was the better team, and it turned out they were a much better team if you watch them from the eye test. So I did make a bet on them to win it all, regardless of who they play. But today, I just had this little feeling like there might be some scoring, especially in the second half. So I got over 2 goals, basically 2.5 goals. I need 3 goals total. And that was plus 144, which I thought was pretty good. So we'll see. We need some scoring going on over there. All right. Now, I mentioned in the little teaser thing that I was sent ahead, I'm looking for some levers to figure out how I have 1,000 or so people, not 1,000 people, but 1,000 to 1,500 views on a lot of these streams. And I'm shamelessly plugging the fact that we have a community that you can come in and learn how to do this properly. And by properly, I mean where you will not have any concern about the ability and having the skill to, in a reasonable amount of time, get to a payout status within any of these programs. And I really mean with that, and I mean any of them. Consistency rule, end of day, $60, activation fee, no activation fee, cheap discount, 90% off, not 90% off, whatever the case may be. So I think I've been showing this for a little while. Everything that I'm doing now is through my school community here. And currently, I'm going to drop this in here. It's at $99 a month until we hit 500 members, and we're at 459 members. Now, why would you do this? I'm not selling a course. I'm not selling an indicator. I'm not selling hopes and dreams. I'm not selling a bot. I'm not even selling a strategy that you learn. What this is your access to daily deliberate practice, which is my trade room every morning. So all the things like all the lessons, all the structured lessons, all the various things that are added on the calendar, and then of course the ability to interact with a number of other pretty positive, pretty cool people around the world who are in this together, who somehow finally heard my message, which is you have the greatest opportunity you've ever had to learn how to speculate properly. And also a guy that's not passing the programs that you're going to try to pass to by putting on 1, 2, 5 full size, passing them in a day, showing you a $10,000 trade. That's all horseshit when you're trying to learn. How about somebody that has an $80,000 account that you can watch every single day? By the way, I'm going to add another $50,000 account, and I'm just going to do treasuries in that, and I'm just going to do options on futures. So if that's something you're interested in, you're like, hey, I'm a retired doctor. I've already, I'm playing around with some of this money. I need my greens fees covered. I can see the value in these simulators that I can get paid on. I'll mess around with a little bit of those. But how about also learning a skill where you could manage a portion of your money using a futures portfolio? To my knowledge, I don't know if you're going to get that anywhere else. If you have found a good source for that, great. So it's like the triple threat, right? Reality, fantasy land, which is prop, and then reality taken to the next stage, which is actually being an active self-directed investor. All of that for $99 a month. Now, when I come on and I talk about it, I get it. It sounds like sales only, and to a certain extent it is. I'm trying to find the levers that will make you take action for yourself. One, it's a 90-day guarantee. I'm literally doing this. This to me sounds crazy because the public, when you're dealing with the public, you never know what kind of people you're going to attract. But many of you are return viewers to my streams here and say that you've watched some of my other stuff, and I'm learning that it truly is the 7-something-7 rule of marketing. And I hate this because all I want to do, everybody, is get on and trade. And now the first goal is to get to 500 people in this group, and the next goal is to get 1,000. Not so that I increase my earnings. Does it help to have a large community that is paying? Yes. You know why? Because you will pay attention to what you pay for. So it's naturally, I like this structure better than what I've done in the past. What I did in the past was think, I don't like personally monthly memberships. When I've found something that I like, I want to buy an annual so I get a discount, or I just want to go lifetime on the software, whatever I'm using. So that's what we'd always done at TDG. We promoted the concept, and we did the last one ever. I burned the boats on that. We're not ever going back. But now I have a really good way of telling and finding out whether people stay engaged in their learning. If you're not trading, you're not engaged, it's not working for you, whatever, just cancel and move on. But hopefully I can provide as much value as I possibly can during that time, and I'm fully incented to make sure that you stick around so that you learn how to do this and you can help the next person that comes in, because the stats are the stats. Am I going to completely change the entire world when it comes to how difficult it is to make money in markets? No. But we can have this little sliver of people that pay attention, and I'd love you to be one. So what I'm doing right now is You can believe me or you cannot believe me. This school is cool for what it is. School is cool for what it is. It has an amazing network effect. Most of it's owned now by this guy named Alex Hormozy, who's a really good marketer. He's here in Vegas with me, and they're the guys that convinced me to come over and use this platform. Okay? The trade room hasn't changed. I don't run the trade room in this platform. Everything is off this platform when it comes to the daily stream that I do in the morning. Okay? But this is now going to be the source to get into that. Now, Alex, who's this great sales guy and has books about how to market and create all these kinds of offers, offers a software program that has no fucking couponing or discounting or anything. I have no choice. It's like, it's either free or it has some price. I'm like, hey, how about a code where someone could come in and have their first month for like $10 or their first month for $50 or something like that? Doesn't exist. Can't do it on this platform. So what I've done in the past is say, okay, if the next certain amount of people that join, I'll give you a free prop program or something like that. That to me is a pain in the ass, and I probably haven't even fulfilled everybody that I owe that to. So if you're listening and you think you were one of the first 25 people in the group and you haven't yet got your free account, just DM me inside of school and we'll take care of that. I've done like 15 of them, so there's probably about 10 people left. Okay, I want to always honor everything I say. So instead, what I'd like to propose today, if anyone's, we're watching the game, it's now 0-0. Nothing happening in the markets, except for I'm just going to close out of this. I'm going to close out of this trade right here. I'm just going to close it.
Order filled.
Okay, we'll come over to here. So anyhow, this is the school. And I'm not going to give away any more free accounts. It's just silly. It's dumb. They're worth like $20 anyway. So instead, I wanted to let you know about something that we have gotten going on in our group. And that is something that's sort of near and dear to my heart, and some people have started to do it. It's what's called our give back, trade it forward kind of thing. Without going into too much detail, I've shown you this before. There's entities out there that are lending organizations that vet all the people on their network and everything like that, and you have the ability to loan a small amount of money to someone in usually third world country, or a place where your dollars can go a lot further, or your euros, or what have you. And now we have a number of people in our group that are starting to provide these loans, which is super cool. We've created a lending team. And here's our lending team, and we're just getting started. So we have 33 members of our lending team. We've made 23 different loans. We're starting to really get rocking and rolling here. Now, here's the cool part. For the most part, I'm funding the first part of this loan, and then many people are also starting to contribute. So here's what I'm suggesting today. We'll see if this resonates with anybody. If you are tired of everything that's happening in your speculative life right now, and you have to be one, because I know the stats. You're spending too much time on spinning your wheels in these prop programs. You're buying them, you're blowing them up. You might still be trading minis. You think you can figure it out because Patrick Whalen's figured it out, or wants to tell you that he's figured it out, or anybody else out there. Literally anybody trading a mini in a $2,000 account is doing you a disservice, because that's not possible except for day trader margins, and 5 minis are certainly not possible. So it has nothing to do with reality. If you happen to pass, you will blow it up. If you trade that same way, you'll probably never get a payout. So if you're done getting on that hamster wheel and you want to do it right, you can't just read my ebook or come into my streams and make it work. You do have to reinforce your learning, right? So since I can't give you a discount on your first month's membership, and since I don't want to give away any more free prop programs, if you join today while on this stream, or anyone who watches it afterwards, I'm going to give you a $50 gift certificate for Kiva. Now, why should you care about a $50 gift certificate for Kiva? I know many of you rather have a free account. Well, because Kiva's not charity, it's a loan. So when I give you a $50 gift card for Kiva, you can then go lend it to somebody, usually $25 loans, and within about 3 or 4 months, they're going to pay you back almost the whole thing, and you relend it again. Plus, you're now on to something that I'm an ambassador for Kiva, so I'm trying to get more people to know about this. ultimately, if you come into my group and you learn this skill, you will have the ability to help out whatever cause is important to you, right? I got nothing against charities. There's a lot of things that have to operate as charities. But charities, unfortunately, have a tremendous amount of overhead very often, and you're not really sure if they're effective. Every form of research in the world regarding this has proven that the best way to help somebody is to give them fucking money. That is the best way to help. You might have whatever opinion you have, sit anywhere on the political spectrum in whatever country you're in and feel that that's not true. That's a socialist kind of thing. You know, people need to earn their thing, but you're lending to people that are trying to improve their lives. If you give them direct money, you help them improve their lives. If that's important to you or that resonates with you, we can take this off the charts because that's the area it's in. It's called off the charts right here. And you can see the people that are lending and what they're lending. So here's Todd, the group that he gave to. Okay. So if you vibe with that, here's how you join. You just come right over here to this page right here and get going. Because God knows, some of you are going to make me have to market like YM Barbie. Because this is the biggest trading community on School. Nothing against her, nothing against anybody that resonates with this. But I don't want to be the guy that has to create a fucking website like this just to get people to help themselves. So I'm trying to do something a little different. But anyway, this is what sells. This is what's sexy. And all that content and nonsense that's created about prop firm drama. If you want to do things a little bit differently, and if anything that I'm saying is resonating, please join us today, and I'll give you a $50 gift certificate on Kiva. You can join our Kiva lending group. And even if this ends up not being for you, I mean, if I can't give you $50 worth of value or even $100 worth of value, because that's what you're paying, within a month and you learn a heck of a lot, then just ask me for your money back. All right, enough about that. Still 0-0 in the Argentina-England game, as expected. We see we're just hanging around right here. Someone said they don't get paid until Friday. I don't know this. It's the other message I always have is this: if this amount is like a stretch at all, and I mean literally, if it's something you even have to think about, then do not do it. Please don't do it. I mean, I'm trying to go after an audience that has already spent thousands of dollars on prop programs without any kind of success, and is probably waiting for the next sale so they can just buy more and continue to. I want all you drunk monkeys. If you're a drunk monkey that can continue to smash the banana and buy another account, bring on the drunk monkeys. I will work with the drunk monkeys. There you go. I just heard someone join, so welcome. Okay. Everybody that joins today, I'll DM you in a little bit after the stream to make it all clear. I'll show you how I send you the gift certificate card. I'll welcome you to the group, and we can get started literally tomorrow on prop stuff. Okay. So bring on the drunk monkeys. But if any amount of money is a stretch for you, the only thing I implore you to consider is please stop buying these programs. It's not going to work for you. For now, you have to go figure something else out to earn some income so that you can use these for what they are. They're a good tool to learn how to build a skill over time. If you're patient, you're disciplined, you're focused, I'll help you get there. But if $99 is in any way a stretch, or you have to wait till you get paid, and again, I'm just reacting to one comment there, this is not right for you, and please stop investing any money if it's a stretch at those price points. Okay, that would be my suggestion there. And you know what else is cool? What's going on in the chat here? These are just lifers and people that are busting my balls about stuff. We've truly have formed a group of mostly Gen Xer, snarky ass people, and we're having a good fun. So yes, I owe people all kinds of stuff. I owe some llama farm equity shares, some kombucha. That's right. Go get your Apex flash sale. Get your bundle of 5 accounts for $195, and then worry about how fast you have to go and what the activation fees are and all these other things. So not only the drunk monkeys, I'm interested in it, but if somehow the YouTube algorithm served you this content and you made it all the way to this point and you rather deal with an adult in the room who will have real live money on the screen. So let me show you how difficult it is. It takes me a long time to doctor this. So I have to doctor this whole thing up. And look, to some, as I said before, to some 80 grand is a decent amount of money. To others, it's a meaningless amount of money, or somewhere in between. But every day you turn into my stream, I want you to watch me grow this to $150,000 this year, which I could have gotten there even faster. I had to take some money out because I put on. There was just too many juicy trades in the treasury markets recently when we saw that pop up in rates to about 462. And I have some other proprietary stuff that I won't share with you directly, but I'll tell you what I'm thinking in terms of the treasury markets, which I've traded professionally for 25 years. You don't have to trade the treasury markets in any of your prop programs, right? So I'm just talking about a couple different audiences, because while I want the drunk monkeys who are spinning their wheels in these programs, I would also like the adults in the room too, who might have millions of dollars in your IRA account, and I'm not going to manage it for you. I'm not going to provide any financial advice. I'm just going to show you how you can apply the framework to helping to complement and supplement and improve the performance of your portfolio, about 5 or 10% of it, using the futures markets. So there you go. But if that doesn't work, I'm going to build my own version of Stock Baby. Stock Baby. Because you can learn how to trade the simple way. Stock Baby. Great. Sounds like some people are gonna join up. And I just want to tell you what the guarantee is, because it's pretty simple. Try it for 90 days. But you can cancel anytime. But if you try it for 90 days and you truly apply yourself, and you, at some point in the first 30 days, purchase one of the prop programs, any one, I don't care, as long as it's a small enough one, and you're not well on your way or have passed it, just ask for all your money back. Some of you will shine and be rocking and rolling, and so I can also show you this on the screen all the time. None of these are funded yet because I try to go as slow as possible, but you can see these two at the top. Those just hit the threshold today. These are all trade day accounts. These are Apex, and these are obviously take profit. And I have Blue Sky, Bullinox, Earn to Trade, FNN. I don't have GOAT anymore. 4 from Legends. Those are all live now. Tradeify. I have Top Step on the other machine. I'll go through all of them. We'll have as many as you could possibly handle. Doesn't matter. But the point is that I'm doing the same thing that I'm going to teach you how to do, and that when you see we call this P&L porn, but don't trust the P&L porn from me because I have a lot of experience. How about the P&L porn from our group just today? So here's today. Let's take a look at. So we measure things in risk-adjusted returns. Risk-adjusted returns is the only way to measure something. If you find yourself asking the same questions of everybody else and they give you their answer, these are the questions I hear. How many contracts could I trade? What's a good profit objective? How long did it take you to get consistently profitable? All those things are good questions, but start with first understanding how to measure your own risk-adjusted returns, which means how well are you doing relative to one daily unit of risk. Your daily unit of risk should be about 10% of your starting account size when the account is under a certain amount. For the purposes of prop programs, it's 10% for all these accounts because these accounts are $1,500 up to $5,000. So it's always 10%. When you get to an $80,000 account and it's live and it's real, you're not using a 10% daily risk budget. At least I don't think you do. I use about a 2 to 4% daily risk budget as I'm growing the account. So right now on my $80,000 account, I risk max around $3,000 to $4,000. If I get anywhere close to that daily intra drawdown, I'll just reduce size or close positions. Generally, I reduce size. I don't close everything out because a lot of the time I'm in the market at places that I'm happy to do business with. We just have to be able to sustain a little bit of fluctuation around those prices. But back to what happened today, we had 63% of our group that had profits of between 0 and their daily risk budget. So let's say their daily risk budget was $250. Let me just actually show you what this means. Let me show you what this means because this is over here in the classroom. So I'll show you what it means. You're going to start here under risk management and you're going to understand how to actually look at a P&L and EC scorecard, right? So everything in the green is great and everything even in the small R is fine. While you're learning, you can have plenty of small R's. You just can't eat like a bird and shit like an elephant. You can't ever lose a lot of money in any given session. If you do that, not only is the impact it has on your account, okay? It has the impact on your account. Many of you have probably seen that road to recovery from drawdown. I mean, it gets crazy. 10% is fine. You know, you need to earn whatever it is to get back to even. This is just to get back to even, not to even be profitable. But once you draw down 50%, put in the chat. If I draw down 50%, what percentage return do I need to produce to get back to even? I draw down 50%. What percent do I need to do to get back to even? There's a 20-second delay, so I'll wait 20 seconds. It's 100, right? And that's just to get back to even. So if people are wondering why they find this process so frustrating when they have a $2,000 account, wink, wink, a $50,000 account, or a $100,000 account, and they have $3,000, wink, wink, and they dig themselves a hole by putting on one mini in the NQ, and it goes $600 against them in a flash, and then they go, fuck, I've got to get it back, and they put on one more, and they lose $400 more, and now they go, okay, well, I'm going to stop right there, because I just blew up an account yesterday. And now they're down $1,200 in their $2,000 account. And they wonder why this is so hard, like you can ever get back to even. Mathematically, statistically, it's very difficult. But what if the worst case scenario, I don't even care if you trade an NQ. Trade an NQ, just put a $200 DRB in your platform. I mean, it'll be 10 points. It'll be gone in a heartbeat if you're wrong, right? I mean, literally in a heartbeat. And you might get some slippage. But this is the only way to do this. There is no other way to do this. This is my message. I want all these yahoos coming at and commenting on my stuff. And I like when my team creates little clips on this. There is no other way to do this. If you do not establish, protect, and respect a daily risk budget in a small account, you're never going to make any money. And you're always going to be on this hamster wheel. And you're going to be continuously frustrated. And notice I haven't said shit about a strategy or a chart or a candlestick pattern or the orb or the breakout or the bubbles or the book map or the footprint or all that. None of that shit matters. What matters is you come in, and I'm giving you this for free. You can look at the scorecard. You do not have to join my group. Starting tomorrow, if you're trading on your own, establish a daily risk budget that doesn't exceed 10% of your account balance. Anybody who starts to give you risk per trade that's not based on that, click off of them and come back to Papa Rod here, okay? Because they might think they're not teaching you this properly. If I have to see one more thing, one more video that has 25,000 or 50,000 views with 5,000 likes with some guy on a whiteboard at, DM Capital, Drunk Monkey Capital, whatever, clearly giving a lesson that they believe is useful and appropriate for how to trade a small account, where they're talking, well, you have this many trades and you risk this much per trade, and I don't hear anything about the session risk. Nothing about the session risk. If you were hiring someone to manage your money and their path towards their profit was through a 40, 50% drawdown, would you keep them as someone managing your money? No. Now, I understand there's a gap between you giving two shits about something you paid $50 for that's a simulator, and you've seen other people manage to spin it up or have some success or convince you that that's possible, and that you've also been convinced that the prop game is a different game. No, it's not. It is exactly the same thing as you putting your own $2,000 in a live brokerage account and seeing if you can grow it reliably without sustaining significant drawdowns. Some of you might be willing to put $3,000 or $5,000 of your own money in Ninja Brokerage and lose $2,500 of it in one single day. Some of you might be okay with that, have enough money to do that. I have plenty of money. I would never do that. It would drive me crazy. If I have $5,000 in a Ninja Brokerage account, I'm going to trade up to 3 to 4 MYM and 2 to 3 MES forever. There's our market on close orders, a little spike up in the NASDAQ. Nothing going on in gold. Took off my ZT short there a little early as we come back inside day on the ZT. All right, but just finish this off. Please take a screenshot of this scorecard. Utilize it however you'd like. This measurement here, your EC score, is just as important as what you're doing with P&L. And the more often that you're above this line, small R's you can deal with emotionally, this all feels great. I'm not a proponent or fan of anything trading psychology related, but the part that I do resonate with is that for whatever reason, as humans, we are wired, most of us, to assign a much higher emotional weighting to bad stuff than we do to good stuff. Good stuff feels good, but bad stuff feels 10 times worse than good stuff, even if they're commensurate. Right? Speaking of soccer, I was a goalie growing up as a kid, and I just hated it because the shame and you felt when you let in a goal and you know that you can't actually score a goal, so you just have to have this sort of team appreciation or team osmosis of when your team is scoring, it feels good and you know you're ahead or whatever, but when you let in a goal, it just feels like absolute shit. So that's why I liked when I started to be a pitcher, because I can control my own outcome. Anyway, give yourself a risk-adjusted scorecard and then also be very sensitive to what your emotional capital is, and you'll be able to see a connection between the more often you don't have a big red number on the screen, the more often you'll feel pretty chilled out. Come into the trade room and you will see more often than not, the vast majority of people are going to vote G, 1, 2, or 0 every day. Doesn't matter what the market conditions are. You know why? Because we're trading micros and small accounts, and we can't really get that hurt unless we allow ourselves to by not hitting the close button or putting a daily risk budget in our platform. Let me say that again, because I got to tell all the dudes on the stream the same thing 3 times. You don't listen. There's no more excuses anymore. Every platform you can put a reasonable lockout in your platform. So I don't want to hear about it anymore. And I have plenty of clips of this already, so my team doesn't have to pull this. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I should just post 15 days in a row that I'm tired of listening to it. I don't even understand how the content is still appealing to anybody. Oh, I blew up. I was so close, and then I lost my account, and woe's me, and I'm just being straight with you guys on this challenge. Or the flip side. But but I put in all the time. And then once I figured it out, I went from being a drunk monkey bozo who was blowing up accounts to now I make $10,000 a month or $100,000 a month. Bullshit. On both sides, it's all horseshit. That's not how it works. That's not how trading works. That's not how math works. It's not how it works. If for some reason something flipped and changed, they just learned how to manipulate various accounts against each other and finally play some sort of silly prop game. And maybe they did end up getting they didn't learn how to trade. All right, 5 more minutes left. We're at halftime in the game. I need 3 goals in the second half. Not looking good. So, P&L and EC scores. Let's go back to just look at today. And probably less than 10% of people actually post, which is fine. But let's look. Travis, Sean. This is the TDG way, what we call the TDG way. It is slow and steady progress. It is seeing, for the most part, the balance of the account is making nice progress. It's not drawn down by half of where, you have 2 more days left in your subscription before it renews and you just act like an idiot. Okay, let's look at that one. Here's me joking. I'm good at this. This was my results at the close of the trade room. And here was my results right around now at the close of the day. And again, if nothing else, you will be amazed at my AI image generation spoofing skills. So you should come. I am the best at this. Don't give me none of that show me your statements. I can manipulate the heck out of these screenshots. Doesn't take me very long anymore. It's so nice that every member of my group also cheats and creates. Now here, this is important. Let's look at Chris, okay? Chris has a little drawdown going on some of these accounts, all right? Have no idea why he has a $250,000 account. You can see that one's almost blown up. I don't know if you're on the stream here, Chris, but this is cool. It's a little mixture. We're learning. We have some that are above water, some that are below water, but working your way out of these will be the best possible thing ever, because as you're doing this, your first series of funded accounts, you might get the yips a little bit. It's just natural. You're going to get the yips a little bit. You're like, why did I act different now that it's kind of real money that I can get paid out on? And all of a sudden I didn't hit the close button and I got a little over my skis and I drew down a little bit and, this sucks. And the best thing you can possibly do is to work your way out of that, because that's the same as if you put your own $2,000 in there and, a little bit in, a couple weeks in, you're at 1,300. You're like, ugh. Yeah. Ugh. Well, what are your choices at 1,300? To act like a total moron and just gambled up? Some of you might. Or double down on your risk management, your position sizing, your frameworks, and the way you look at the markets, and dig yourself out of that hole and turn that 1,300 into 5,000 in the next couple months. We have some members of my group that do kind of variations of what I do. I would be able to take $5,000 and double it every month, every single month. And those are clips that create a lot of controversy. I love it. But it's no different than when Warren Buffett says, he could double $1 million or $2 million, but not $100 million. It's not linear. I'm not suggesting that I can take $50,000 and double it every month. No. Or even $25,000. But on the smaller amount, when I'm working with a 10% daily risk budget and levered products, you can do it. All right, what else do we got? We got Nick. See, Nick, basically above in some of them. I'm not cherry picking here. I'm looking for red. Here we go. Here's some red. Very, very flat day. Fine. Every account above the starting balance. Nice progress. And by the way, we encourage these types of screenshots. This is our version of P&L porn. If you've seen enough of those, if you're around this space and you hunt around YouTube for a little bit, or thumbnails or screenshots or whatever, or all the bigger guys that have created very large media presence around trading, and then it's 5 Tradeify accounts and $4,000 or $800 in each one for the day. I made 20 grand. If that appeals to you and you feel that that's real and you feel that that person can show you how they did that and you can do the same thing, by all means, go on over there. But if you're a relatively intelligent person and you've been around math, statistics, or even reality, hopefully you see that you have a much better chance of being able to emulate this. All right, we got 2 more minutes left. Did I miss anything here today? Remember, I'll put it in here one more time. Love to have you join me. Everybody who signs up today that comes in, I'll DM you directly. I DM everybody that comes into the group. I'll DM you directly and tell you how you can get your $50 gift certificate. No strings attached. I'm just going to send you $50 on Kiva. The only thing I ask is that you go in, take the time to lend it out, probably 2 loans of $25. You create a little Kiva account, and then you come over to the community and share what you posted. We're not virtue signaling here. We're just sharing. There you go, right there. So what I liked about the stream today, at least personally, one thing is my head was cut off, so it's not going to add. Uh-oh, sorry, Corey. My editor's going to be like, oh, you spouted out a lot of nonsense, but when you said a few good things, it was cool, except your hair was cut off, and we can't use any of it. You guys were here for it live, and didn't talk really at all about anything going on in the markets because we don't need to. We're getting a little bit of a move in the close here. I'm going to leave on these live orders. A +1 fill will be fine. Excuse me, +2 fill. I'm going to cancel any orders I have in the NASDAQ, which were way down here.
Order canceled.
All right, I don't think I missed any questions. All right, everybody, that's about it. So one last time, I have a community on School. School has a lot of nice features. You can come on in with another 460 other folks that are doing this almost all the right way. Lots of support, all that good stuff. Plenty of structured content and lessons and things in there, but really it's your gateway into a one-to-many mentorship. I'm not your guru. The only job I have in this whole gig is to put you tangentially next to other traders like yourself or other people around the world on a similar path, and access to me so that you can have the unwavering faith that if you put in the effort and do things correctly, you cannot put in the effort with the mechanics of a really, really crappy swing. It's not going to work. So I'm going to give you the mechanics of a proper swing, and then I'll hit the ball for you so you'll see that swing works, and then you just have to go put in the effort to get that swing down, to hit the ball straight, to hit your forehand down the line, whatever sports or other analogy you want to use. But if you don't believe it's possible and all you're exposed to or all you expose yourself to is all the absolute crap and toxic shit out there, then you're going to stay in the vast, large cohort that sucks at trading, that doesn't make any money, and you will be the funder of me. Don't let your money in these programs fund me. I don't need any of these accounts. I need them like a hole in the head. In fact, if you go back and watch some of my other clips, you'll see that in the past, I had 100 $250,000 and $150,000 accounts, literally 100. And I closed them all. I didn't blow them up. I didn't do it. I don't need them. The 250s took me 4 months to get through. I never put on a mini. I didn't do anything different. They took me 4 months. And you can go back and watch some of my streams. We have the clips. It's not made up. Those are my PAs. 250, 250, 250, 250, 250, 250, 150, 150, 150, 150. 20 at Apex. A bunch at all kinds of firms I can't even remember. I probably took the first 150 grand out of Bullinox that they ever paid out. I apologize to all you Bullinox traders. The reason you can probably only have 3 to 5 max accounts at a time is because they learned really quickly when they first got in the game about 5 years ago, that was probably too risky. Because skilled or unskilled guys could take shots at all these firms back then, right? Remember the original ones beyond Top Step? There was OneUp, and OneUp never added more buying power. I had one $250,000 account at OneUp. That's, to my knowledge, that's all they still offer. Does anyone know? I think OneUp, an OG that flies below the radar that you'll never hear anything about, they offer one account. Right? So basically that's one $5,000 account or one $6,000 account. And I will be able to teach you over time how you can take your own $5,000 and probably pay your mortgage every month. Not if your mortgage is 10 grand, not that. But if your mortgage is 3,000, 4,000, you can almost complement and supplement your income in the futures markets with one $5,000 account. But before that, come over, learn how to trade in the prop programs, risk of very little of your own money. We'll see you over there. Hopefully some people were inspired today to let me. I have literally unlimited funds to do this in terms of giving $50 gift certificates away. So bring it on. I hope 100 of you join. I know you won't, but I hope you do. We'll see you at the next one. Stay green, trade like you mean it. Be good. Bye-bye.